Hello, folks. I'm Joe Wesley. As you know, first off, for those who are coming for the first time, thanks for visiting us. And I say us because Lizzy will be on shortly. I hope she has computer problems, so we'll see how that goes. And not computer, but server problems, so that could be an issue. But having said that, this purpose of this event, 15 minutes worth, for those who are seeing us for the first time, is conflict resolution, you might say. And I say it like that because I'm a left brain kind of guy, very proud about it. And she is the right brain persona that I want the facts. She talks about the feelings and the insight and the mindfulness, and she's very good at that. Puzzles me. But from people I know who know her, who I respect, they say she's good. So let me find out something more about my resolution of conflict here. And the concept being that mindfulness, if you have it, you're much more likely to be healthy. You're much more likely to feel good. You're much more likely to be successful. And those concepts I get, I'm just not clear how I would go about it. But that being said, that for those who are coming back secondly or thirdly or fifthly, thanks for coming back. Before I forget, I'd like to announce that you can see us through one of three platforms, through one of three vehicles. And that's the YouTube, that's Facebook, and that's LinkedIn. Hi, Lizzy. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Joe. Good morning, folks.
Just giving some background information. We do ask when you look at this through YouTube, please sign in either through your YouTube account and or your Google account to leave comments. And I ask that you do that for those of you who aren't up with us at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, that you can look at us later in the day. And we do audit the comments, so please feel free to share back to us, ask questions, and share with other people. So the purpose of my engaging with Lizzy, and that might be a polite phrase, sometimes we really go at it back and forth, is I don't get what she does. And see, there she goes. So right off the bat, she's just on now. She's already ready to go toe to toe here. So that being said, the way this works is I choose the topics and I give her a heads up warning. Sometimes actually she'll provide me with themes because I'm not into this stuff. But this particular topic is the issue of, I'll say, conflict resolution. And the question is, if something makes us feel good, is it also good for us? Now, you might argue yes or no, but somehow mindfulness is supposed to help that stuff out. And I use the example of chocolate ice cream. I says, I love chocolate ice cream. I love how it rolls across my tongue. I love the flavor of it. And I would eat, if I could get away with it, a whole carton of it. I've even found some places health food. There's something in it that makes us better human beings. But on the other hand, I do know it's sugar, it's saturated fats, it's all that other stuff too. And I'm very mindful of the fact that I love my ice cream. I'm just not sure how mindfulness is going to make a distinction for me. And that's just one example. If it's good to you, is it also good for you? And how does mindfulness help that out? So I'm going to stop my rambling. Let's see what Lizzy does to try to support this process.
Well, I think again, it's really thinking about what's the outcome that you want. Is it something? Is it worth
Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt. I want to enjoy my ice cream.
so is it worth it in that sense? Is it worth the calories? Is it worth the sugar? And sometimes it is. That's again, it's that balance. So sometimes yes, if you eat it for every meal, how you're going to feel? What's the outcome going to be? You're going to be unhealthy and have diabetes, perhaps.
Well, you're right, but I'm a weak guy. I know I'm a biology major. I know it's going to gain me calories. I
Yeah.
know that. But I don't have the mindfulness factor to say, oh, let me just eat a portion of this. Otherwise, too much, I'll regret it tomorrow. How many people say, boy, I know I'm going to regret this tomorrow?
Yeah.
And they still go ahead and do it.
That's right. And again, we go back to that we started with, I think, almost on our first episode with that formula: events plus your response equals the outcome.
Hmm.
So, the event is there's a big tub of ice cream in there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond? You eat the whole tub. What's the outcome? You gain 10 pounds. Or you choose to have just one little portion mindfully and you savor it and enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
fully. The outcome is, your pants will fit the next day. So Again, it's not. I think the question was a need versus a want.
Hmm.
It's a need is something that you must have. You must have some form of food every day, right? And some
Hmm.
and water. But a want is like, I think of a want as everything else besides what we actually need for survival. Um,
Okay.
and so with the wants, we have agency. We can decide how much we want, how much we need, and I think what gets us tripped up a lot of times is that we confuse it. We think that we need those fancy sneakers or we
Hmm.
need that expensive meal, when really it's what we want. And there's nothing wrong with wants. I think that, wants are good. We have these desires in us, and they should be fulfilled to some
Okay.
degree because we are here to have a good time.
I hear that. Now you brought up a good point, which is really my key factor here. So how does one who's not in your zone of awareness, I'll say it like that. How does one? So I got the ice cream sitting there. It could be a dessert table buffet, uh, and that how does my mind? How do I kick in my mindfulness to make me a more responsible or better or whatever it may be persona of the moment? Is there little
I think
techniques that one does?
I think again to just stop for a moment and pause and think about what is the end result I want here. Do I want to leave this buffet feeling sick, or do I want to, have a taste of the things that I really think, appeal to me, and are going to fuel me and feel good in my body? And so it's really just not, like people say, you eat with your eyes. Sometimes you order too much because you just see everything out there and you want it all. But the mindfulness comes into mindful eating as a practice, as a practice of slowing down. One thing you can do is take a bite, put the fork down in between each bite, chew your food fully, not just woofing it down. Look at the plate and look at and think about when you put on your plate, do you have a variety of colors that are going to make you feel good? Because obviously, the colors of the rainbow is much more healthy than
Mm-hmm.
everything being the same color of like processed food.
Mm-hmm.
And so slowing down, I think is a really good one. And mindful. I mean, I went through mindful eating days at what I've been on retreats where every meal you have to take a bite, put down your fork. You have to make sure that your plate is covered with, again, the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because, and then no silence, so you're not talking, you're focused, you're thinking about how did this food get here, the from harvest to table, really thinking about the time that it took for it to grow and all the things that you can do, to appreciate what you have. Again, I mean, I think that's part of like saying grace, how people say that when they're grateful for what their food is, like taking a moment to be thankful for what you have in front of
Now,
you.
now, I hear the methodical method you've just described, and I can relate to that. However, I have another scenario. You watch an episode where a person, maybe a lady, maybe a guy, will just have had a very bad moment. Maybe it's a breakup, a loss of some type. Let's say it like that, and they deliberately go to the freezer and they deliberately pull out that gallon of ice cream. No, don't bother with bowls. Get the biggest spoon they can find. And it's very clear their focus to finish off that half gallon of ice cream.
Yeah.
So you describe about being methodical and what you want and consideration. Is that person really being mindful? Because they know what they want to do.
I
And
mean,
and,
and
and,
not
and
really.
maybe they've been punishing themselves. Perhaps I'm gonna eat. I know it's gonna make me fat, but I'm gonna eat that ice cream.
Well, they're trying, they're in that moment, they're trying to feed their pain. It's like trying to fill themselves up with something other than their pain.
Sure.
And I think that, and it might be in the moment, kind of like a band-aid effect, but until we feel our pain, until we actually let ourselves grieve, like feel the pain of whatever it is, that the loss, let that feeling, let it flow, however you grieve, and then let it, it will move through you, and putting those band-aids and ice cream on top of it is just gonna, it's not gonna get to the to the root of the cause of the pain.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Now, so let's say again, somebody's not quite ready to come to you for that path for themselves. It's really, as you've implied or indicated, it's a matter of health. Well, you say wellness, mindfulness, they're almost synonymous of sorts. So, how does one who's not yet inclined to give you a phone call or an email contact, again, baby steps and micro steps, is there some little things they might do, at least at the moment, that
I
might.
mean, you know what I always say to people is just when you're feeling overwhelmed or with whatever, get outside, go for a walk, get outside, call a friend who's going to be there. That's not going to have you, that's going to be there just to listen, not to advise, and not to tell you that snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I mean, again, movement. I think get up, move your body, go for a walk in nature, and then come back and see if you still want that ice cream or whatever, or whatever it is. So movement, I would say, can snap you out of it. Uh, you know, Maybe it's taking a bath, doing something that's going to make that makes you feel good. Whether it's putting on music, taking a bath, going for a walk, calling a friend who again will just be an ear of somebody who's not going to try to fix anything, but
Mm-hmm.
just be someone who will listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, write down your feelings. Write them all on a piece of paper. Get it out of you and onto a piece of paper. Is a great way to kind of brain dump whatever it is that you want to like get out of you.
Right.
Um,
I have to admit to something, and folks, I'm not giving any ground on this, just so you know I'm not weakening. But
mhm,
this is our 48th episode, and
mhm,
an insight just came to me that the commonality or the continual thought that I'm hearing from Lizzy is first, her core theme is you want to get a state where you're not reacting. Somebody taps your knee, you jerk your knee, and you kick something and bang your toe, and it even gets worse. That rather than react, you proact. And I'm hearing three stages. I'm going to ask for validation or not. I hear first off, give yourself some space. So
mhm.
don't react at the moment. Remove yourself from the moment. And maybe that's part of this mindfulness journey. I have no idea. And then having given yourself some space, you develop some awareness.
Yeah.
And then having developed the awareness, then you can redirect
Mhm.
in a manner that hopefully would be better for you. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And also, which is tricky, but I think it's a gold nugget is to look for what's the lesson in it. What's or for whatever, say somebody breaks up with you, what thinking about if they did this thing to you, say some guy cheated on you. This happened with my client actually yesterday, and she was not doing well. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I was we had to talk about what if this is how he's showing up. How about like I'm so glad that this happened now rather than we're married and I'm
Mm-hmm.
pregnant um, and he's showing you who he is,
Mm-hmm.
now, and that's like a good thing, even though it's not what you would have wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look for what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? Um, so that really it's happening for you again, and not happening to you, and getting out of that victim mentality, and because it really everything that we suffer, all the things that we go through are really here to, I believe, to
Mm-hmm.
teach us things if we're open to the lesson. And there's no loss. Again, there's no loss if there's growth. If there's growth involved in something that you go through, there really is not. It cannot be lost at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I
I,
believe.
I hear that. And it's interesting that you talked about the victim mentality. And I was just about to write down, every now and then I dip my head down. It's like, I'm not like I'm going into prayer or anything like that. I'm trying to make notes. And so the world may try at various times to punish you, to attack you, to demean you. But I guess mindfulness is where you don't want, and they will try to victimize you. But you don't want to victimize yourself. You don't want to punish yourself. You don't want to add to that burden that the world would be putting on you. Is that kind of what you're talking about with this mindfulness thing?
I mean, it's an opportunity whenever those things happen to like rise above it and see how is this going to make me stronger, and how am I going to become more resilient as a result of whatever this is, especially in the world we're in right now. Like this is such a time where Some people are going, like you said, into hiding and pulling the covers up and eating their ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
while and others are really showing up like we are here. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to try to add value and to do something that will hopefully help people. And so, take those opportunities, I would say to people, and look for ways that you can show up, um, and rise above all the noise and all the craziness that's going on around us, right now. Um, and I know that might sound like woo, 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 whatever, but it really is in each moment to show up, be with your people that you're with, your kids, your family, your
Mm-hmm.
friends, your coworkers, be a source of positive energy rather than joining in on all of the misery and the negativity. And how do we do that? We don't turn on the news every minute. We don't call the people who are going to be like, isn't the world falling apart? I mean, the world is falling apart. What are we going to do? How about
Mm-hmm.
let's see what we can do to be part of this, like be solution oriented, and ask for help when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the people that are there, that are your positive people in your life, or look
Mm-hmm.
for those people, or seek out that tribe, seek out those people in your family that are ones that make you feel good and are going to be there to support you, um, and hold you when you need to, and you hold them when they need you.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. Boy, time zips when we're having fun. Folks, thanks
Wow.
again for joining us. There you are already. So remember to look at us. If you haven't done it this morning, look at it later in the day at your leisure. Please leave comments, ask questions, and please share us. I'm Joe Wesley saying bye to you.
Bye, guys. Take it easy. Take care.
See you next week. Take care.